Round one action, race number 4, Monster Patrol and Equalizer. Monster Patrol with David Morris at the helm, qualified 4th. Monster Patrol, Paul Schaefer, the world champion mud racer turned monster truck driver, qualified 9th. Equalizer has got to be thinking it's going to be an easy win over the rookie, but I got news for him. This guy has learned very, very quickly. And David Morris, don't count Monster Patrol out. Thumbs up as we wait for the green light. There they go. Monster Patrol with the hole shot. Monster Patrol has learned something. He's learned that you mash it quick and you stay on it. He defeats the Equalizer. An upset. It happened on the starting line. I don't know whether David Morris was asleep or not, but Monster Patrol took advantage of the green light, and then he kept his foot in it all the way across the cars. What a competitor Monster Patrol has turned out. Alan Pizzo brings the Predator out for round 2, race 3 action. He faces Paul Schaefer, the rookie in Monster Patrol. They are staged and ready. Monster Patrol on the inside track, Predator on the outside. Over the finish line is too close to call. The computer tells us Predator won by 6/100ths of a second. Our closest race of the night, with Predator victorious.
We're set for semifinal.
We are back for semifinal action between Gravedigger and Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol? Yeah, the rookie gets to come back. He's one of the only trucks still running on this course, and he gets to face Digger. Digger has 1,400 plus horsepower in the big Chevy, and Monster Patrol, a little over 1,200 horses. Now, horsepower doesn't make a whole lot of difference here. It's who will cut a better life. As they stage, Gravedigger appears to be smoking. Maybe he's just hot, or maybe he has some head gasket problems. Monster Patrol looking very, very good and confident on the start. Gravedigger gets a win. Gravedigger did not look back, and we still see smoke coming out from under the truck. Gravedigger, if he has a problem, you couldn't tell it from that win. Paul Schaefer looks over at him, shakes his hand, and says, hey, I lost. He took it like a man. From the start, it was Gravedigger. It's all Gravedigger. Jim Davidson standing by with our winner. Round 1 action continues at the Nassau Coliseum. The matchup between Monster Patrol, 5th in qualifying with Paul Schaefer aboard, and Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher, a disappointing 10th in qualifying for Carolina Crusher. You know, Gary Porter travels alone on the circuit. No crew at all. Monster Patrol has a crew of 3 that travel with him. And one of those includes his wife, Mary Ann. Her name is written on the side of the truck. Monster Patrol and Carolina Crusher wait for the green light on the start. Monster Patrol with a little bit of a hole shot, but a bad bounce. A bad bounce. He gets started again, but Gary Porter is already in turn number 1. Monster Patrol limps, tries to get started and can't. Carolina Crusher comes up behind him, and Monster Patrol is dead on the track. Now, U.S. Hot Rod Association rules state that Carolina Crusher cannot pass Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol took off like a rocket, a little bit too fast. He lands on the left front very hard. The suspension rips out from under the truck. You can see it bouncing around. That's all for Monster Patrol today.
And Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol is one of those new drivers that we were telling you about at the top of the show. He was taking on a familiar face we haven't seen on TNN for a while, Gary Porter and the Carolina Crusher. Now we're going to show you some round 1 action, and Gary shows this newcomer he hasn't lost a step.
Well, both Chevrolets left the line side by side, but Gary Porter's experience and time in the seat paid dividends as he showed the newcomer. It's going to take a little bit more than what he's got to go to the next round of eliminations, Gary.
And Army, the last time we saw Mark Hall, he was
Monster Patrol.
It's dirty combat between rival mudboggers Tom Martin and Paul Schaefer, and this filthy battle won't be fought in the mud pit.
I'm the real Bud Patrol. I do own the real Bud Patrol. He's not going to get the name back. Doesn't own the name. I never sold it. I never will.
These former friends are now current enemies, and it's war, all right. The stakes are pretty high. They've taken their gripes to court, and the winner of this legal battle gets to compete under the Mud Patrol name.
In 1988, I did go to Paul Schaefer, Paul's Auto Yards, and asked him if he would be willing to sponsor the car for advertising. He was very nice. He sponsored me. We were very good friends. Paul wanted to start driving the Mud Patrol, and I figured it'd be good for publicity to let him drive under that name. So I let him use the name. He bought the car. I let him use the name so we could be a better team together. Did not sell him the name. Did not give him the name. I let him use the name.
The Mud Patrol name is famous from way back, but I made it famous for the last 2 years, 2.5 years, and I feel that I own the name. When I bought the car, I bought the name, and he wants the name back.
Is Tom an Indian giver, or is Paul a thief?
I don't understand why the man wants to have my identity. I built the name for 10 years, let him use it because we were going to be a team and build together. Now he decides he wants to go on his own, that's fine. Well, he don't need to take my name with him.
I feel that I own the name, and he's got to fight me to get the name back.
In this dirty combat zone, there's plenty of mudslinging going on.
The real Mud Patrol is tan and brown, not green and black. It was painted tan and brown like Indiana's county patrol cars. I think he has an identity problem. He don't know if he wants to be Gravedigger, green and black, or Mud Patrol. You figure it out.
I'm sorry. It's too late. I had it 2.5 years, and he's not getting it back.
All is fair in love and war, and this muddy battle is no exception.
I am the world champion Mud Patrol driver.
All he says is, I've got more money than you, so you can't win. Well, is money going to win, or is it going to be righteous that wins? Well, we'll find out. Let the fans decide.
The fact of this battle may seem murky, but one thing's for sure. Neither team is out of the dirt yet. The courts will decide which driver ends up with mud on his face.
Paul Schaefer does own the name Monster Patrol. And although he's a rookie, he's fast approaching the status of being a very competent driver on the U.S. Hot Rod Association Monster Wars Tour. But he's going up against one of the toughest in the business, the Equalizer. The stage as round one continues. Let's see how they did in qualifying. Equalizer in the middle of the pack, qualified 5th. Paul Schaefer, Monster Patrol, still learning the course, still learning the truck. It's a new one. He's a rookie. He qualified 10th. From inside the truck, Monster Patrol red lights. Equalizer is waiting for it. Monster Patrol red lights, and David Morris, he started to head to the pits and then thought twice about it. He says, hey, if this guy red lighted, I just have to finish the course and I'm the winner. And Monster Patrol doesn't even know it. Monster Patrol's still racing and beating up his truck in the meantime. David Morris being a very, very smart veteran, and this is the difference between the rookie and the veteran. He jumped the light, and Monster Patrol, if he had realized that, he would have backed out of it and saved the equipment. But he's still racing. He doesn't know what happened. David Morris, the veteran, says, hey, I'll just take it easy. I won't beat up the truck, and I'll be able to move on as a winner to the next round. As he comes across the finish line very daintily, your winner, Equalizer. Took him almost a minute to do so. Paul Schaefer wanted so badly to win this, he didn't wait for the green light. And he DQs on the start. There's the red light. Here's Equalizer, a full second behind him. That's when the green light came. Monster Patrol was way far gone by then. Experience wins it for Equalizer. And everything you got to learn, right? Well, Paul Schaefer is about to learn from Taurus. Paul Schaefer is going up against Jack Willman Jr. Now, Jackie has been the #1 monster truck driver in the Taurus camp for a long, long time. He's got experience. Paul Schaefer, while he's an experienced mud racer, he has his new truck, Monster Patrol, and he's got his work cut out for him here on this figure-8 course in Louisville. Taurus, Monster Patrol lined up on the start. Taurus has a little bit of smoke coming out of one side of the engine. That could be a problem for him. They go around the turn. Monster Patrol laying back. Paul Schaefer waiting to see what happens. He knows he's heads up with this guy Taurus, and he's going, hey, I'm okay. Look at this. Now, boom! This is where experience comes in. Monster Patrol takes a bad hop, and Jackie Willman drives Taurus right through it. You got to keep your foot in it. You cannot back out despite what your reflexes tell you to do. Barring a problem, Jackie Willman and Taurus will pick up this win, and they do in the air. Paul Schaefer gave it a valiant run, but Monster Patrol just didn't have it a full 2 seconds behind Taurus. And it was nothing more than experience that caused him that loss.
And this is where it did happen. Over the first set of cars, Monster Patrol, he backs out of it. See, with a monster truck, you must keep your foot in the accelerator. And when you're flying in the air and landing like that, the reflexes are to back out and hit the brake. Jackie Willman knew better. He gets the win.
We're almost ready for round 2 action, and the first race will be Predator versus the rookie Monster Patrol. Its driver, Paul Schaefer, may be a newcomer to monster trucks, but he's a familiar face to U.S. Hot Rod Association fans. Last year, he was crowned the champion in mud racing. Driving what else? A car called Mud Patrol. Jim Davison has the lowdown on the guy who just won't slow down, Paul Schaefer.
Why be number 2 when you be number 1?
If there's one thing you can say about Paul Schaefer, the force behind Monster Patrol and Mud Patrol, he's driving for the gold.
I work 16 hours a day. If that ain't ambitious, I don't know what it is.
A die-hard competitor, if there's a way to soar his way into a top winning slot, he'll find it.
This wing's going to make me win. And the fastest way there is straight across the cars. And if you're flying through the air, you lose too much time. I want to jump the cars. I want to fly straight across the cars. I don't want to fly up in the air.
He wants the best toy that can be out there. If someone is beating him, he wants to know why they are beating him.
Every successful man, it's a woman behind him. And Marianne's the woman that's behind me.
I give him all the support I can.
She keeps pushing me to go faster and faster.
I make the team just as much as he makes the team. It's a combination, and it's a winning combination.
Ready to kick your butt.
No, you're not.
I met her in the bar, and she was in there shooting pool, and she thought she was good, and I just had to put her in a place and show her that she couldn't beat me.
I'm going to beat you again.
You're in trouble.
Okay, you won.
I won.
I don't want to play no more.
I told you so.
Paul's determination to be a winner doesn't stop at the racetrack or the pool hall. In fact, his biggest pot of gold comes from junk.
I believe everybody wants to be a junk man. I got 7 junkyards right now. 10 years ago, if they would have told me I had owned the largest junkyard in the country, I'd have said he was crazy. But a year and a half ago, I bought this place, and this is the largest junkyard in the country right here. There ain't a junk man don't know who I am.
So other people's junk is now Paul Schaefer's treasure. He and Marianne live on 2 acres of land in Portage, Indiana, and they always manage to find time to enjoy the good life that riches can buy. A world champion mud bogger, a rookie monster truck driver, everything Paul Schaefer touches turns to gold. And his secret to success, well, it's simple.
Any dream that you want to do is possible. All you got to do is work. You know, whatever you do, you know, if you want to be a doctor, you want to be a lawyer, you want to be a junk man, you can be anything you want. All you got to do is work.
There's the man with the mission, the rookie, Paul Schaefer. He has something to prove as we go into round number 2. He comes back as the fastest loser. Hey, this time, winners only make it on. Predator, Monster Patrol, on the start. Predator with the lead. Alan Pizzo drives Predator into turn number 2. Paul Schaefer is playing catch-up. Predator heads to the cars, and the big jump. Whoa! Monster Patrol again takes a bad hump, but he seemed to learn. He kept his foot in it. And now, they're dead even going into turn number 4. Monster Patrol picks up the lead. Predator backs out. Predator is oh no, Predator can't do it. Predator could not straighten out. Monster Patrol, the rookie, going to round number 3. A win for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. And Predator cannot believe the upset of the season. There's our loser, Predator. Alan Pizzo takes it into the pits. How did this thing happen? Very simply. Predator was in the lead going into the first jump. Monster Patrol, he learned from that earlier race. He keeps his foot in it. And now he says, hey, Alan Pizzo, look what I learned. I learned to race my monster truck on this figure 8 course in Louisville. Paul Schaefer, the upset. Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. Boom, a rookie no more. And Digger could face the rookie Monster Patrol. The Cinderella story could happen here tonight in Louisville as he faces Invader. Invader weighs in at 11,000 pounds, is a Chevrolet-powered Ford truck. Now, the brand new Monster Patrol puts out 1,250 horse with the help of a Keith Black Chevy Hemi. And one thing's for sure, the last thing Invader wants to do is to lose to the rookie. They are lined up, waiting for the green light. Monster Patrol first on the light. What a great job with that reaction time off the line. That's going to help him. Monster Patrol into turn number 2. Invader lagging behind as they approach the set of cars that's going to launch them skyward. Up and over. Monster Patrol has a lead. Invader tries to correct it. He's all over the track. He straightens out, and Monster Patrol still has that lead. Whoa, Invader, look out! Monster Patrol may have a win here. Monster Patrol, it is all Monster Patrol. He's going to the finals. The rookie's going against Gravedigger. And what happened to Invader? He's backing up. He's still trying to finish the course. What a disappointment for him. Monster Patrol had a lead, but he's playing it very, very close to the outside. It looks as though he's in Invader's lane as he approaches the cars. He lands in Invader's lane. And I now understand that Invader has actually protested that race. I can't believe he's not going to take this loss like a man. Jim Davidson is with the U.S. Hot Rod Association officials right now.
Mike, what's going on right now?
We're going to review this run between Invader and Monster Patrol. There was been a question that maybe Monster Patrol got over Invader's lane, and that's what we're looking at right now.
Hey, Ray, as we're watching this, will you tell us what's going on here?
Yeah, well, he came over the cones a little bit. Now that's their call, you know, on whether or not, right there he's crossing the cones. So that's their call. That's what the cones are there for.
Guys, any word on what we think now?
After reviewing the tape, we're going to leave it stand as Monster Patrol winning. We're going to leave it stand as the way it was called.
Some fans may disagree with that call. I personally agree with it. Let's send it back to Luann Lee. Out some very, very tough trucks today. In round number 1, he defeated Invader. Then First Blood, and in the semis, Carolina Crusher. Monster Patrol, he's in the finals. He had some tough competition. Taurus, Predator, Invader. And as Monster Patrol pumped during the commercial break, he vowed to the crowd that he was going to kick Gravedigger's butt. Jim Davidson is standing by with his wife, Marianne. Let's see how she feels.
Marianne, your husband Paul in the Monster Patrol, he's getting out there in the race to go up against Dennis Anderson, the Gravedigger. How do you feel?
I am real nervous, but he's gonna kick his butt.
He just said that himself, too. Did you prep him on that?
No. He's gonna.
It's a family trait, kicking butt.
He's going to have to do something to take out Gravedigger. Monster Patrol, the rookie, goes against the big boy Digger. They wait for the green light in Louisville, Kentucky. This is our final. On the line, Marianne's watching her man as he goes against Gravedigger. Oh, her face tells the story. The inexperience of Paul Schaefer shows. He tries to cut that turn just too close, has to back out of it. And Dennis Anderson, the experienced driver, picks up the win. He takes advantage of that one split-second mistake. Digger gets his first ever win in Louisville, Kentucky. A 7-second lead over Monster Patrol. Gravedigger's in the winner's circle. It's a case of never give up. Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger, he tried for 5 long years to get a win in Louisville. Tonight, it is his, and the crowd's on their feet saluting him. It was Paul Schaefer's rookie mistake that gave Gravedigger an easy win. Schaefer came out of that second turn just too fast. He was not lined up properly when he went over the cars. Dennis Anderson, taking advantage of that, sails on to an easy victory. His first ever on the figure 8 course. Gravedigger, your winner in Louisville.
Round 2's matchups.
Gary, Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania always brings out the best in the monster trucks, and this is no exception. We're ready to go into the second round action, and we notice something that's kind of unique. That's the fact that Dodge, Ford, and Chevrolet are all even going into this round. Each one of the manufacturers took 2 wins in that first round to roll them over into the second. Let's see how it's going to pan out. Back to you, Gary.
As we start round 2 competition, there is a good look at Wildfoot, the latest creation from Bob and Marilyn Chandler out of St. Louis, Missouri. The driver, of course, is Andy Brass, and he pulls alongside the Monster Patrol, and there's a look at Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer, one of the young up-and-comers in this sport. He's already made a name for himself in the sport of professional mud racing. He's won world championships in that sport. He's rolled over now on the MTRA circuit, runs a Jamboree series, and he draws Andy Brass out of St.
Now, here is a look at Paul Schaefer's round 1 win over Brian Welsh, driving the moving violation.
Is that the same Paul Schaefer that's a band director on a national television show?
No, I don't think he works with David Letterman.
No wig and beard. This is what he does in the weekend.
Here's a look again at Wildfoot as he pulls alongside Paul Schaefer at the Monster Patrol. This is round 2 competition from Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania.
Chevrolet and Ford, one of them's going to go on a trailer and not be able to come back. Who is it going to be? Andy Brass is the odds-on favorite. Just because of time in the seat, Schaefer runs him tough. No.
Oh, I like that new camera angle. Hang on there, Schaefer. He gets over into Andy's shutdown lane, but Andy Brass will advance, and Paul Schaefer will put that monster truck on the trailer and take it back home.
The unique rule in the sport is he can get over in the other lane. The orange cones down the middle indicate a center line. You can get over in the other lane because you can't control your vehicle. The rule is, though, you cannot make contact with the other truck. So
and
no
look
harm,
at the
no
height
foul
there.
here.
Look at the air that Andy Brass is getting in Wildfoot. And Brass, the pilot, has landed
a whole lot of abuse.
Also in round 1, here's an ISO look at Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol. He bottoms out in the near lane. It appears as if both lanes will give our drivers fits here this afternoon.
Well, I know that one lane definitely gave Paul Schaefer and his crew a fit, because right now they're back in the pits literally hammering and nailing, trying to get this truck ready for the next round of competition. We'll be right back with that action in just a moment. Part of the new wave of trucks that are coming into the circuit. Schaefer in a far lane runs Paul's Auto Yards. He's one of the biggest auto salvage operations in the country. Comes out with a wing on the vehicle. Schaefer says that wing may actually be an asset to him. Does it work? He says, well, we're not going to say it does or it doesn't. Meanwhile, Ken Deppy comes over out of Jeff City, Missouri, driving the Dodge
Well, Army,
Express.
remember when we went to break, we talked about this crew right here working on the Monster Patrol, getting it back in shape for round 2 competition after a very hard landing in round 1. Well, the crew has done its job. The Monster Patrol lines up against the Dodge Express.
Well, this is going to be anybody's race. Both of these guys are what I would call new young guns in the circuit. Chevrolet in the far lane, carrying their colors. Dodge in the near lane. Oh, Dodge has got him covered.
Yeah,
big
Dodge
time.
has him covered. You are right.
Whoa.
Oh, hang on. He almost had himself covered. Almost upside down right there. That's where some of the best driving comes into play.
Exactly.
In the shutdown area.
They say it ain't over till a fat lady sings. Well, believe me, she was wailing trying to get that thing back on the ground.
Look at that rough landing. Talk about rough landing.
That was the smoothest of the two. Oh, monster truck, we love you.
Watch this shot of the Dodge Express. Now watch how far out of shape he gets right there. Coming at you this time, and again, some of the best driving we have seen throughout the season is these guys getting those things shut down and not getting upside down. Like right here, he has to power out of it.
Boy, good
make sure he doesn't roll on over.
Camera guy's doing a great job on that, taking it right into our living rooms.
Well, let's go down to the back here in Bloomsburg. The weather here in the northeast has just been brutal. It's so very hot and humid, no hint of a breeze, and the stifling heat, it's taking its toll. While we were away, this is Bigfoot driver Gene Patterson, who we understand is overcome by heat exhaustion and will not be able to drive in the finals. Again, this is from heat exhaustion and not from the result of the bumping incident with the Dodge Express. Now, the Bigfoot race team had wanted to put crew chief Jim Kramer, there he is, talking to Andy Brass, to face Brass in the finals. But the rules state that the driver who qualified the truck for the race is the only one who can drive it. So Bigfoot will not be able to run in the finals. So instead of the all Bob Chandler race team, we're going to go all the way back to the second fast loser in round 2. That would be Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol. Remember, we had the 2 DQs in the semifinals with both Barefoot and the Dodge Express. So it will be the Monster Patrol appearing for his first final appearance in just his 4th race on the circuit. So here is a look now at the finals as we sort through all this. It will be the Monster Patrol against Andy Brass in Wildfoot. Oh, brother, understand all that, Army?
Yeah, Gary, I definitely do, and it's a good rule because it keeps side-by-side, 2x2 racing in front of the fans.
And earlier we talked
he pulls out of this real fast, knowing which I'm sure he will. It's just he's got a lot of things on his mind this week. You know, the heat's playing with him, you know, and this weekend also his wife's supposed to go in for a delivery of a new baby this week, so he's playing with that. The track's rough. It's throwing the guys around, you know, and he got a lot of things to think about, you know, because these trucks, and especially when Dodge Express come by and hit him and spun him a little bit, you know, Gene's worried about maybe rolling over and hurting himself. And yet he's got a new family to go home to, and he's thinking about that, and it's just playing a lot on him, and it's really a mental strain on him this weekend.
Well, we talked about the wear and tear on the equipment at the top of this show. Well, a weekend of racing in the hot sun also extracts a human toll as well. We are ready now for the championship shootout between Andy Brass in Wildfoot and Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol.
Literally a pressure. Oh, look at Andy Brass. You talk about hot. He is dead hot on that starting line, and he's going to win it. He was definitely hot today.
Another big victory for Wildfoot, the Bigfoot organization out of St. Louis, Missouri. So they will take the victory here in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania, and we'll have a chance to take one more look at the action here.
But you know, Andy takes the win, and I'm happy for him and the Bigfoot crew and everything. But on the other side of the slate, you got Schaefer coming into the sport new, goes to his first final. It's a psychological victory for he and the Chevrolet camp, because they know they can run with these guys.
Congratulations for Andy Brass down there. Sneak in there and see if you get a word with him, Army.
I'll tell you what, Paul, they're checking the kill switches on these monster trucks, and as Andy Brass will tell you, before every run, they check that kill switch to make sure it's functional.
Well, as we take a look at Paul Schaefer, let's go back now to round one and see what the Monster Patrol could do against the King Crunch Chevy. Ron Nelson driving for Scott Stevens. He's in the near lane, Schaefer in the far lane.
Nelson, the very first time in a monster truck, he goes on the trailer. That's to be expected. Meanwhile, Schaefer, with that big wing, rolls over into the next round. But where does he roll over to? Look who's laying to the
right
left.
Right up against Andy Brass. But just how functional is that wing?
He won't tell us, but I asked him, I said, you either trying to advertise your business or what? And he said, no, with a 10,000-pound truck, the longer you can hold it in the air or put it on the ground, the more control you're going to have over it, the better you're going to be.
He didn't get too high in the air, and he stayed on the ground a little too long. There's an unusual shot there off the crush cam.
Ever wonder what
mechanical problems.
You ever wonder what a monster truck looks like from the bottom side up?
We'll take a look again. Andy Brass coming right at you, and he takes an easy win here in round two.
Boy, if you look at the area in between the jumps, it's almost like an explosion when those big tires dig in and throw that mud up in the air. It's just awesome. Meanwhile, replay comes up. How about holding it right there?
And let's go down now and talk to Andy Brass.
There. Dempy's engine is low, but to the front. Again, it gets to be a 10,000-pound balancing act.
We go back now to round one action, and Paul Schaefer is in the Monster Patrol again in the near lane, but it's the far lane that takes the victory.
Yeah, Fred Schaefer getting that Dodge truck balanced out. That's what bumped him over into this round. But
lane, that's where everybody seems to be picking up a lot of speed. It's a kinder, gentler lane. They line up for our next matchup. This time, Tropical Thunder goes against Monster Patrol. Paul Schaefer drove the Monster Patrol to 10th in qualifying, and Wayne Smolzanek took Tropical Thunder to 5th. Tropical Thunder has been struggling of late. A Monster Patrol, the rookie, the newcomer, has really been coming on strong. On the start, Monster Patrol with a bad hop. That's driver's inexperience. Can he catch up with the slower Tropical Thunder? He does catch Tropical Thunder. What a come-from-behind victory! What a comeback! Monster Patrol takes the win! Recovering from one of the worst starts I've ever seen in a monster truck race, Paul Schaefer kept his head and now used the 146-foot straightaway to outmaneuver Tropical Thunder. Not only did Monster Patrol get an incredible comeback win, he did it in that least favored outside lane. Back to the studio with Blue End. The big monster truck out of Wadesboro, North Carolina, with Gary Porter at the helm as he stages for round number 1, race number 4. The Carolina Crusher will be going against Paul Schaefer's Monster Patrol. That truck out of Portage, Indiana. Monster Patrol qualified 8th, a kind of a slow qualifying time for him. And Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher was right up there. He qualified 3rd. Now, Paul Schaefer may be having a little bit of a problem here with the Monsters because he's used to mud racing, a flat track where you got to run down 80 feet of mud and then stop. But he's moved up to the Monsters now, and he's going to be doing a lot of bouncing around. He's got to learn to maneuver this tough course. Gary Porter is a veteran at the sport, and he has a camera inside the truck, so let's go inside the Carolina Crusher and go for a ride with Gary Porter.
All right, y'all get ready.
There we go, green light. Gary Porter takes us for a ride. And Monster Patrol has some problems. He nosedived off the first set of cars and never could correct it. Gary Porter has an easy win. 7.27 versus 11.12.
Woo, that was a wild ride. Were y'all hanging on?
The guy that should have been hanging on was Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He takes a nosedive right here, bounces all over the track, and he is out of it. Experience pays, and Paul Schaefer just needs to get some more experience up in the cockpit of Monster Patrol. Boom. That's the end. He's done. Gary Porter, flawless run for him. He punched it to get over the first hill, goes over that first set of cars, back out of it. Now, planted firmly, he goes and sails on to victory. Predator is just waiting for Monster Patrol to make a mistake like he did in round number 1. This time, he won't recover. Predator's a faster truck. Approaching the cars, the hop. Predator smooth. Monster Patrol bounces. Predator! It's all Predator! It was not a pretty win for Predator. He came over the first set of cars, and then he's out of shape as he approaches the second set, tries to correct. And in the air, you can see the problems. But U.S. Hot Rod rules say you have to have 2 tires over the cars at all times. He did that. Monster Patrol, very bad hop. He's out of the competition. Jim Davidson is with our winner, Alan Pizzo. For our next 2 competitors, Monster Patrol and Barefoot. And this is a matchup because we have the new guy and the veteran. The rookie and the veteran going to go at it side by side. The rookie is Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He qualified 6th. The veteran is the world champion, Fred Schaefer, Barefoot, fastest in qualifying. He turned in a time of 6.82. To the starting line, Monster Patrol seemed to bobble a little bit. Apparently, he didn't break the beam. It's a legal race, but he takes another bad hop. It's all Barefoot. It is all Barefoot. Almost a full second over Monster Patrol. On the starting line, Paul Schaefer was a little shook. He came up, bobbles just a little bit, and then starts. But he did not break the beam, and that kept it a legal run. Meanwhile, Barefoot went the whole way. There's that bobble. And then, over the cars, watch the jump. Ouch! Bad hop. This is what everybody in that right-hand lane has been doing. That wasn't a Monster Patrol problem. That's a track problem. The right-hand lane's the one to stay out of tonight.
Ford and Bigfoot and Ford make a good winning combination. But a lot of these other guys can't get that big major sponsor with those big pockets. So what they have to do is rely on smaller corporate involvement, an associate sponsor, if you will. Maybe not that much money, but some money and some product. There's another thing that kind of comes to light right here, and that is that this time of the year, whether you be a corporate sponsored vehicle or a privateer, the playing field starts to get level because all the equipment's tired, the drivers are mentally and physically tired. Your wallet's been taking a big hit all year long if you haven't been running good. So the playing field levels out to the guy or the team with the biggest heart. It's almost like a short fuse on the 4th of July. The big question is, who's going to light that fuse today to get the fireworks going? Back to you, Gary. Exactly.
Now on to round 1, and watch this wild run by Wildfoot, but Andy Brass taking on Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol was still able to turn in what would be the quickest ET of round 1. Well, also in round 1, we saw Andy Brass in Wildfoot, who was the number 2 qualifier, meet up with Paul Schaefer's Monster Patrol, and it was all Mr. Brass.
Yeah, but the shutdown area provided a little bit of activity for us, too.
Well, they did all that shutdown area here this weekend because of the very wet conditions here in Indianapolis.
And it's still raining, as you can see. Andy went a 551. Crush cam.
Yeah, brand new angle. I like that. Well, we also had an onboard camera on Mark Watrous' Mongoose, but he was knocked out in round 1 by Paul Schaefer in the Monster Patrol.
Yeah, but you still get to take a ride and get just a little bit of a feeling what it's like to drive one of these behemoth trucks.
That almost gives you a headache just going along for the ride.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to come back, and there is Gene.
You know, it surprises me that Patterson wants to go over to the lane that's real soft and start in that big old hole, but I don't think you really got a good and a bad lane right now.
Who's your boy out of Portage, Indiana, up in northern Indiana? Paul Schaefer, the Monster Patrol. There's Gene Patterson, the Bigfoot organization out of St. Louis.
Schaefer operates a auto salvage operation real big in that industry. Patterson, professional monster truck driver and a brand new father, I might say.
Well, he chose that right lane where it's a little softer. Let's see if it works for him. And yes, indeed, as Schaefer high-sides that truck, and Gene Patterson takes the victory. We've heard a lot of talk about detuning these engines this weekend. Let's go back trackside, and Army has some comments on that.
Gary, something really amazing going on in the pit area every time these trucks...
1,000 people! They're all on their feet as we come out. The Predator, Alan Pizzo aboard. Starts out round number 1, race number 1. His competition, wrapping up his rookie year, Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. And the question is, can Predator hold off? 4 times these two mighty monsters have met. Monster Patrol's only won it 1 time. Alan Pizzo drives Predator, qualified 7th today. But look at Paul Schaefer in Monster Patrol. He was the 2nd fastest qualifier on a very, very tough course here at the Pontiac Silverdome. There's a shot of Paul up in the cockpit. We are ready to go. Race number 1, round number 1. On the start, Predator with a hole shot. Monster Patrol battles back. It's Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol wins it in the World Finals against Predator. And Predator was smoking at the end. Predator looked very, very strong at the start of the race, and then something happened. Smoke comes pouring out of the engine. It may have gone away on him. He finishes the race, but sorely behind Monster Patrol. You can see the loss in power right here. Predator starts to fade, and Monster Patrol sails on to victory. Jim Davidson's with Paul Schaefer.
Hey, Paul, sometimes it's the case that when Gravedigger and Barefoot are around, they get all the headlines, but you're out there making some ripples in the pond yourself.
Well, I got my Van Simmons motor in it, and it's geared up, and it's running good, and these guys are going to have to look up toward me now because I'm getting better and better and better. My motor's running good, and I'm ready for him.
He's having quite a rookie year, Monster Patrol. If that's not bad enough, Monster Patrol gets a bye run when Tropical Thunder can't start. So Monster Patrol is in the semifinals. Tropical Thunder's being towed back to the pits as we reorganize things for the semis. Let's go back to Luann Lee. Monster Patrol comes up to the line. You know, he started this year very, very late. He entered about 1 month into the action, and he certainly has done a super job. But his competition, the old-timer Gary Porter and Carolina Crusher, averaging 4.72 seconds in this track. Monster Patrol, 4.38 seconds. They line up, wait for the green light. Carolina Crusher with a hole shot. And look at Monster Patrol. He comes from behind. Monster Patrol defeats Carolina Crusher. Monster Patrol goes against Barefoot in our final. An incredible rookie season for Paul Schaefer and Monster Patrol. That ends the season for Crusher. Carolina Crusher has had a good season, and Gary Porter's definitely a great driver. You don't want to take anything away from him, but the combination of new equipment and the driving skill that Paul Schaefer has managed to garner from this sport is just incredible. And he's going to need every ounce of that for the final against Barefoot when Monster Awards comes back with our World Final. Timer, Brent Schaefer, one of the creators of this sport, has to go against the newcomer, Paul Schaefer, no relation, in the incredible Monster Patrol. Monster Patrol got to the finals by taking out Predator, Tropical Thunder, and Carolina Crusher. Barefoot, he took took out Gravedigger early on, then Predator and Equalizer. And now the two line up, the rookie and the old-timer, Barefoot and Monster Patrol. Nobody in their right mind would dare not sit still and watch this race, because this is what monster truck racing is all about. Can the rookie take out the world champion? On the start, it is Monster Patrol with the whole shot. Barefoot fights. He can't do it. He can't do it. An incredible season for Monster Patrol. He just defeated the world champion. The truck designed by Jack Willman Sr., the driver, the world mud racing champion, has just taken out the world monster racing champion. And when this guy comes back for the 1994 season, look out. Fred Schaefer hauls on your tail. The Barefoot Dodge had a good run. You can't take that away from him. But this time, Dodge fell to the Chevy Monster Patrol. Fred Schaefer won a world championship here today, but he did not win this race. That goes to Paul Schaefer, who's standing by with Jim Davidson.
Paul Schaefer, excuse me, but I thought you were a rookie.
I am a rookie, but I'm learning quick.
What are you doing putting away Fred Schaefer in the Barefoot?
Well, I knew I had to put it all the way to the floor and hope for the best, and I put it to the wood, and I come out on top.
Leaving Pontiac as the winner, it's got to make you feel good.
This is the best day of my life to win this, because I wanted to beat Fred and the rest of them, and I proved to it that I can beat them.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.